So Piatt-Tran I think it's going to be a great resource. The gentleman we've been meeting with, Tim Gadberry, really is looking forward to serving DeWitt County. And the nice thing is it's not, even though we had to hurry up and get the agreement done for grant money and grant situations, so the money will be there when the new fiscal year starts in July, it also gives Piatt-Tran, several months here to get with those who need transportation in DeWitt County, understand the needs, work with groups that use it today so that it will be a smooth transition. And, I think they're going to be able to provide the services we have, and they're getting a lot of new vehicles, and everything we've heard is going to be good. So, we'll be able to provide those services that people are used to today.
Show Bus has long been the public transportation service in DeWitt County, and Matthews indicates there was a big change when McLean County backed out of the intergovernmental agreement.
As you know, we've used Show Bus in the past, and they've done a terrific job for us. But there was a change. McLean County had been running that agreement with the surrounding counties, Livingston, McLean, DeWitt, I want to say Iroquois, but that may be wrong. But definitely McLean County made a change. They were no longer going to be part of that intergovernmental agreement. It will continue to use Show Bus, though, through the end of the fiscal year, so that'll be through June.
The DeWitt County Board approved the new contract last week at its monthly board meeting. Local veterans organizations are putting the giving in Thanksgiving this week. On the WHOW Morning Show Monday, Josh Thielen, Department Adjutant for the American Legion, told Regional Radio every year the American Legion, AMVETS, and VFW come together to give out free Thanksgiving meals to anyone in the community in need.
We are in our Thanksgiving week events, and every year for as far back as I can remember, the American Legion, with the help of the AMVETS and the VFW post, as well as our auxiliaries, have come together to cook and prepare meals for anybody in Clinton that is wanting them. Whether you just don't want to cook, hey, call us up. We can get you a meal. If you are homebound, maybe you can't get out, we deliver these meals. You're not allowed to come in and pick them up. You're not allowed to come and eat inside the building, but we deliver every meal. And this year, I think we've got about 360 to 400 on the list. You just simply can call the American Legion, the VFW, or speak with any member. Kim Pakitas has been absolutely instrumental in helping us get this done. Every year she's stepped up and helps to put together the list, get everything in order so that we can keep it timely and keep it moving forward.
The Legion receives support for this project from anyone. That includes local volunteers who will help prepare and deliver the meals.
So we have the American Legion and some of our auxiliary members. Mm-hmm. We also have AMVETS members, the VFW members. They all come together. And we get a lot of veterans, a lot of local volunteers that'll come in and help out too. The Boy Scouts usually have about 5 or 6 Boy Scouts up there helping us plate and helping families deliver foods. Rob Smith, I know he comes in and helps deliver meals. And we deliver all the meals on Thanksgiving. You're not getting them the day before or the day after. You're getting them on Thanksgiving. And we try to deliver around noon. But, it takes us a few hours to get 400 meals delivered out to the area. Anybody that shows up at our door and says, I want to help deliver these meals, you show up at the door, we can hand you some meals and tell you where to take them.
Thielen notes the project depends heavily on community donations and support due to the amount of food provided. He says, though, it's all worth it in the end.
Normally, we have about 20 turkeys that we can cook off. We cook off about 16 to 20 birds, depending on their size. And then mashed potatoes, I think we go through probably about 10 to 12 boxes of the instant mashed potatoes. Probably about 10 to 15 cans of the big cans of green beans. I mean, we've got a roaster pan that we just fill with the chicken and noodles. We want to serve our community. That's one of the purposes of the American Legion is our community.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
We're very community based, and when there's a need and a way for us to help, and this is one of them that, while it can be a little stressful at times trying to get everything done and out, it's one of the best moments that we get to do all year.
If you are interested in supporting this event financially or through volunteerism, reach out to the American Legion at 217-935-5183. The American Legion is located at 219 North Elizabeth Street in Clinton. 14 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Tuesday. Still to come on the news this morning, it's the final weekly crop report of the 2024 calendar year. And coming up in sports, Clinton boys basketball opens its season with a win at the Mount Pulaski Thanksgiving tournament, while Monticello opens its boys basketball season tonight. Those stories come up in sports, yet still here this morning. Again, it's quarter after 7 o'clock on this Tuesday. A local school district is starting to plan how they will spend new funds received from a wind farm. Dr. Michael Tresnick is the superintendent of DeLand-Weldon Schools and explains the decision between lowering taxes in the community or holding on to the revenue received from Piatt County's wind farm is a good place to be.
Well, it's a good dilemma. Actually, it's a good situation. What we're looking at, we have Prosperity Wind has got a wind farm project in Piatt County. It's going to affect two school districts. It's affecting us and it's affecting Blue Ridge. And what we're looking at is if everything comes through, we're looking at almost a 20 to 25% increase in our equalized assessed valuation. That's the number that we base our property taxes on. So, for instance, right now we're somewhere around 80 million for our equalized assessed valuation. We're probably going to go up closer to 105, 110 million as our equalized assessed valuation. Currently, our tax rate is above 4, and that includes everything, bonds, everything. There's a couple different directions that we can go in the future, and it's things that the board and I need to talk about. But this board has been very conservative and has tried to always keep an eye on the property tax payer, and we've tried to, in the last few years, cap what we call our ask at about 5%, even though our EAV has been going up a lot higher than that. So there has been, over actually the last 8 years, a little bit of a reduction on the rate. So one option going forward is, as this comes into play, as this starts coming on the books, is that we can lower our tax rate to the taxpayers and still be able to access the same amount of revenue and maybe even a little bit more revenue, but the taxpayer will actually see a reduction in the rate on what they're charged because of this new property value coming in.
The district recently hosted a meeting to discuss strategic planning. Dr. Tresnick states this is one of the topics they covered and says it makes the decision a little easier.
Yes, I think it definitely did, because as we're looking at facilities, looking at programming, you really can't do anything like that without the dollar sign. It takes money, either more staffing or more facilities. All of that comes into play, and that we know in the next 10 to 20 years that we're going to have some revenue streams that we haven't had before, make some of that decision making easier because you have a way to pay for it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that's, I think, definitely some things we will be looking at is what is the best way of moving forward with this, for lack of better words, a bonus that we're kind of getting over the next few years.
Dr. Tresnick notes, although they don't have any plans set in stone for the funds yet, there are potential projects that he has in mind.
Well, I think that's the whole idea of the strategic plan, is that as we pull all those different ideas together, then we prioritize. I think facility-wise, we're doing really good. We are going to do a construction project this summer and renovate some spaces and do some work on the elementary building. But in general terms, our facilities are in pretty good shape. Mm-hmm. There's always something that you might want to do there, and we can always be looking at that. We're in a good situation that we have a lot of land there, so we have options with green space and that we could do. I have a long-term plan. I would like to get a greenhouse there. So if there's anyone out there that would like to donate a greenhouse to DeLand-Weldon, give me a shout. We could talk. We'll put your name on it. But with the ag program, We would really like to get a greenhouse and then start teaching our kids about sustainable farming and about growing your own gardens and how you can use that. And we have a foods program that would be able to use, like if we were growing our own herbs, we'd be able to use that and that. So definitely, there's some things out there that we would like to get that we think can help everyone, and that would be one of them.
Dr. Tresnick expresses his excitement towards the future of the district. You can get more information on all things DeLand-Weldon Schools at dwschools.org. It's the final crop report of 2024 and shows the state doing well from a moisture perspective. State crop statistician Mark Schleusner indicates temperatures were above normal last week. Topsoil moisture is 11% in Illinois.
Temperatures were above normal in Illinois last week, and rainfall was mixed across the state. Rainfall averaged 0.61 inches across Illinois, and that was just 5/100ths of an inch below average for this time of year. Northern areas were generally wetter than average, but southern parts of Illinois were drier than normal. Temperatures averaged 45.8 degrees, and that was 5.6 degrees above normal. There was an average of 4.6 days suitable for field work last week in Illinois, and topsoil moisture was rated 4% very short, 14 short, 71 adequate, and 11% surplus.
Winter wheat continues its progress.
93% of Illinois winter wheat acres had emerged as of Sunday. That is 1 point ahead of 1 year ago and 4 points ahead of the 5-year average for the state. The condition of the Illinois wheat crop improved slightly from last week. 1% of acres were rated very poor, 2% were poor, 17% were rated fair, 77% were in good condition, and 3% of Illinois wheat acres were rated excellent.
USDA NASS has mailed out its end-of-year questionnaires. Schleusner says those are confidential by law, encouraging producers to participate if they can. 21 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Tuesday. More to come on the morning show. News time is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Tuesday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. Still to come in sports on this Tuesday, the Maroons open their 2024-25 boys basketball season with a win from the Bill Rucks Memorial Holiday Tournament in Mount Pulaski. That recap comes your way next. Of course, you heard action here on WHOW last night. Also, in sports this morning, Monticello opens its boys basketball season tonight, hosting Pleasant Plains. The Sages will be out without a number of its regulars as they anticipate their boys football team participating in the state championships this weekend. That story in sports on this Tuesday. It doesn't look like Congress will get a new farm bill done this year, so says RFD Radio Washington correspondent Matt Kay.
Really not looking good. Probably going to need another 1 year extension, and the farm bill will have to be a goal for the next Congress. So unfortunately for producers, there's not a lot of certainty here.
And what about disaster aid?
Yeah, big question here, and that is, will farmers see any kind of economic disaster assistance with the low prices and high input costs? And it is looking at this moment unlikely, because there's nothing in the president's $98 billion disaster aid package, mainly for hurricane victims and infrastructure needs. Nothing in there that really smacks of aid for low prices and high input costs.
The 118th Congress adjourns January 3rd. The Illinois Farm Bureau is hoping for progress on a state tax reform legislation during the lame duck session in Springfield in early January. Illinois Farm Bureau Director of State Legislation Chris Davis provided an update to the RFD Radio Network.
We are certainly still talking to legislators about, and the governor's office about, the Family Farms Preservation Act and the need for estate tax reform in Illinois. We're looking out very closely for those environmental regulations that may move forward, like wetlands regulations. So we're certainly moving forward with our eyes on getting some things accomplished and looking to prevent some things in the lame duck session in January.
And I know you received plenty of bipartisan support and attention on the Family Farm Preservation Act. Do you feel pretty good about maybe getting that thing to the finish line in January?
We really do. There is a lot of broad support for it. The fiscal condition of the state continues to be an issue, and a projected $3 billion revenue deficit certainly does not bode well. It creates a barrier. However, we still think we're a modest ask that can enable the state of Illinois' economy to continue to grow by keeping Illinois family farms intact and keeping Illinois farmers in the state of Illinois, so that we're not seeing family farms making the difficult decision to sell the farm, to sell land, and then move out of state.
The Family Farm Preservation Act was introduced earlier this year. The Springfield Airport Authority has announced a new partnership with ION to transform passenger services and amenities at the Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport. The collaboration is said to bring substantial upgrades to the airport's facilities, improving the overall travel experience for passengers. Under the agreement, ION will manage various concession areas, including pre- and post-security cafes, Sky Club lounges, and vending machine operations. The company also plans to introduce full-service catering and grab-and-go food options, partnering with Stellar Aviation Group, which manages the airport's fixed-base operations. The partnership involves a long-term lease of up to 10 years, showing stability and a shared vision for growth. As part of the initiative, ION will take over key facilities within the airport, focusing on creating a vibrant and traveler-friendly environment. Phil Rowell is the CEO of ION, expressing enthusiasm for the project, saying they are excited to partner with Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport, and the goal is to enhance the concessions and services available, providing a high-quality experience for all travelers. Mark Hanna, executive director of the Springfield Airport Authority, shared the sentiment, calling the partnership a fantastic opportunity to elevate the airport's offerings. He also notes ION's focus on innovation and service aligns with the airport's mission to provide an exceptional travel experience. The upgrades are expected to roll out in phases, with both ION and the Springfield Airport Authority collaborating closely to implement the improvements. Passengers can look forward to modernized facilities and expanded dining and service options in the coming months. Veterans are urged to take a survey on services. State Representative Mike Coffey of Springfield, a member of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, is calling on veterans and their families in the 95th District to share their thoughts on how veteran services in Illinois can be improved. He encourages all veterans and their families to take a few minutes to complete the survey.
Well, I think it's important to hear from the veterans because, our community owes a profound debt of gratitude to our veterans for their courage and their sacrifices in defending the freedoms we cherish in the United States. It's my top priority as a legislator to support our local veterans, whether it be through legislation that not only improves the quality of life for them, but for all of us. So I think it's important that we listen to them and find out, what they need. They've made incredible sacrifices for all of us, so we need to make sure that they're represented in the State House. So that's why, we do these surveys so that I can hear what's important to them.
Visit repcoffee.com/veterans-survey. That's rep, R-E-P, coffee, COFFEY.com/veterans-survey. And again, the survey is part of Representative Coffey's ongoing efforts to better understand the needs of veterans in his district. As the Illinois House of Representatives concludes its fall veto session and prepares for the spring legislative session in early January, State Representative Brad Halbrook of Shelbyville is sounding the alarm about the potential pitfalls of the upcoming lame duck session, scheduled to to take place just days before the new legislative term begins January 8th. The lame duck session allows retiring lawmakers or those not reelected to return to Springfield for one round of legislative activity. Hallbrook warns this period often sees rushed and controversial legislation.
Private property rights are at serious risk. Forcing landowners to choose between enrolling in yet another government program or facing excessive taxation is entirely uncalled for. These drastic measures erode our trust in government and place unnecessary burdens on our property owners.
Hallbrook cited the passage of the SAFE-T Act during a previous lame duck session as an example of rushed policy making with the significant consequences. He urged his colleagues to exercise caution and avoid passing measures that could further harm Illinois residents or drive people out of the state. Coverage of news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. We stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Sports is next.